Jenny Nguyen. I'll get you to pronounce your last name.
Everybody says one, and I have a backstory of how my business name came about, but it's Jenny Woon.
Woon. There we go.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure to have you join us today. And I'm particularly excited, not only because we're going to hear about some of your experiences that have led to you being influential in the industry, but also because it's such a treat to have someone in person, not over Zoom, doing the mic check and with the Zoom delay. So what a treat. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is a fabulous space, by the way. It's very loud and lots of texture and lots of colors in here. So I love it.
It's a bit reflective of all of us here at Spark.
Yeah.
Before we dive in, I wanted to give our viewers a little bit of context behind what we're doing today. Our team at Spark has worked alongside developers providing tech for years, helping the industry move forward. And when we first started out, we faced some challenges, obviously, entering the market. We had some big ideas, but we found support from our peers. And as a result, we've worked with so many different amazing people and had the privilege really to do that in the new development industry across Canada and the US. And we believe that their stories should be shared. So Jenny, thank you. You've really paved your own path in this industry from what I know, and I'm excited to dive into it. Mm-hmm. You've been a top producer at Oakland Real Estate for several years, Medallion Award winner of the Real Estate Vancouver board, and you've co-founded Parallel Project Marketing, a new development project marketing firm. And you've started a podcast called In the House, which I think is so incredible and so needed. Very excited to hear about that. With all that said, we just love to know how you got your start and what led you here.
Oh, gosh. I never really thought I'd be selling real estate, to be honest. I knew I was going to be self-employed. And I went into school for sales and marketing. So I really excelled in that field, but I didn't really know that real estate was going to be my product and relationship building was going to be my service. And so when I completed my degree, my aunt, who was in property management at that time, handed my resume to her former boss, and her former boss wasn't hiring at that time. And passed my resume on to another really large, reputable developer. And I said yes to the job. I was basically started off as a sales coordinator. And from there, really excited about the market. That was in my early 20s. And right before I started that job, I had put a deposit down on a property as well and waiting for pre-sale for it to finish. So I had that experience of being a client of my own, of buying property. And I got really excited about that process. And so I went into working for a developer for about 5 years and really enjoyed that process, but knew that there was more to it than just working with one developer. So from there, I grew to working with multiple developers on my own. And from there grew a team. Wow. Because I knew that I couldn't do it alone. And now I run a couple of project marketing companies where I specialize in helping developers brand their communities and multifamily master plan communities, and then do a resell on the side as well and manage my team from there. So
you're a busy woman.
There's room for everyone, and it's been a fantastic journey. And I definitely have to thank all the partners that are in this business and all the industry leaders, and especially with Spark as well, giving all the tools that we need to be able to do our job more efficient and service to our clients in a very just efficient way, and allows us to do our job better.
I love that throughout everything that you've done, you haven't let one single path define you. You've kind of put all these paths and these directions together. And sometimes that's a challenge as a young person in the industry starting out. You think you have to go down a certain path and you think that fully defines you. And I feel like you've come to this point where you can juggle it all and do it really well, and it's become who you are and your brand. I think that's
Mhm.
so cool.
Thank you.
One of the things that we would love to know is, I mean, I'm sure you've had so many of these, but there's probably one defining moment in your career that kind of set you on your path, or maybe that's shaped you today. Something that was
Mhm.
challenging or required courage to make a shift. I feel like there could be lots, but
There are so many. And I feel like I evolve like every 5 years.
mm,
And I want to go through all of the stages because I think one of the things that you have to, when you get into this business, you have to adapt because the market's always changing, the industry's always changing, the needs are always changing from
mhm,
your clients. And so one defining moment, I would say when I knew that I didn't want my wings clipped. And so
mm,
the first company that I worked for, I was asking for more work. And I don't know if this comes from my Asian background or my culture, but it's like just keep working and making money. Just keep working
mhm.
and that's and put your head down and be humble and keep working. And so I was really hungry, really thirsty for
Mm,
more work and wanting to learn from the colleagues in the business, from asking a lot of questions with construction guys and the customer service team, and kind of going into the office a lot more than usual to
mhm,
learn about interior design. And so I was really curious all the time. But there was one defining moment is when I was asking for more work, and the director of sales at that time looked at, I guess, the numbers, the income that I was making for that year, and he closed his book and said, "No, I don't think we have any work for you right now." So that showed me that it's time to move on, because my entrepreneurial spirit was really contained and dying. And
mhm.
so that was when I decided to go on my own to be an entrepreneur. And I would say through all the lessons that I've learned throughout this business is you just have to call your own shots and kind of be like move out of your comfort zone and
Yeah.
be courageous and just pave my own way by my own definition of success.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible, knowing, identifying that so early on that that wasn't going to work for you.
Mhm.
Pushing past that, how do you continue? Like, what continues to motivate you and drive you?
Mhm.
Where does that intrinsic fire come from?
I'm gonna go. Thank you for the question. I'm gonna go deep into like my personal life, and I only like lately have disclosed what has gone on in my personal life since I was in my late 20s, and this is disclosed through a lot of my blogs and the post on my In the House podcast, and I want to be open and vulnerable because I'm sure a lot of people have gone through what I've gone through.
Right.
Is I've worked so hard for all the efforts and everything that I've done over the years, and it was like taken away from me by by the justice system,
Mhm.
by the law and the government. And so what thrives me to continue going is to stand by, and also going through and to this day, still sexism, ageism, sexual harassment, racism. So I've encountered all these
Mhm.
throughout my interactions, whether it be with businessmen and businesswomen, whether it be like through competition, through social interactions, through trying to apply for positions, and working with clients too. So, and even strangers, just interactions where it was really uncomfortable. And so, what I stand for is really standing for parity and ensuring that, you can do whatever you want and you can, woman equality is like basically my motivation.
Heck yeah. Can I say that? That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing a bit of a personal story with us as well. Obviously, your strength has taken you through this in your career. I'm sure there are a few lessons that you've kind of picked up along the way, and maybe you've already shared them with some of your peers or people who are being mentored by you. Do you have one leadership lesson that you would share with the aspiring young woman who's trying to get into the real estate industry or the real estate development industry?
I do. I learned this very early with probably the second or third client I worked with. And he's still a client of mine, actually, or they're still a client of mine to this day. And I came from a leadership style of fear-based. So it was very militarian structured, and you have to do this, otherwise you don't get the reward, or you will not look good, or you won't kind of be at the same level as your other teammates. And so it was very like instructional and very managerial. And so that's all I knew. And then I comment, like, I guess the way I communicated a statement or a comment to a colleague of mine was I guess a little bit blunt or direct or demeaning, and a colleague of mine pointed that out to me, and I did not realize at all. And it stems from like my parents, just the way they talked to us as kids, and I didn't realize that that's how I was also had that communication style at work, which in this industry we all know it's all about collaborative. Collaboration. And so when someone pointed that out to me, I entirely changed my style of instead of a top-down approach management style, it was bottom-up approach. And strength in numbers is the team members are who's going to pull weight for you because you want them to rise to the top too. And for me, that's my biggest lesson learned. Wow. And from there, that's why I don't take credit for the success of our team. It's a joint collaboration. And I was mentioning before we started this talk, when someone calls me boss, I kind of get like a little bit like weirded out, because we are all working together to a common goal, and it's to service our clients and to set a certain standard in our industry where we will honor what we say and we'll do what we need to do to ensure that the industry standards are kept to a certain level of expectation. So
I love it. I'm just thinking about that person who probably was so scared to bring that up to you, had a lot of courage to give you that feedback.
Yeah.
But that's kind of one of those defining moments even, right? Where you have a peer point something out that you're not fully aware of that actually grows you, that makes you stronger. I think that's so cool. And that's obviously reflected with the style of how your team operates now, being very collaborative.
And it's, women can be easily identified as being aggressive. And that's perhaps how I was portraying myself, but it's not who I was, and it's not who I want to be. And and my team is growing, and as we speak, and I feel like without that critique or constructive criticism, I wouldn't be where I am today.
I think it was yesterday. We're not assertive. We're not aggressive. We're assertive. Assertive is the right word. We're all trying to get to the same common place. And we want to speak directly. And I think that's so important. All right. One thing you're excited about for the future of real estate, or actually, let's make this a two-part.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a lot of exciting things coming up.
Yes.
I know you were you have contributed a page in a really exciting book. And I want you to tell us about that a bit.
Oh, thank you so much for bringing that up. Yeah, Pursuit 365 is being published and actually being printed right now, and will be released on International Women's Day. This book is going to be on shelves in Indigo and Chapters.
Wow.
And there's 365 pages, and they're all featuring, one page is featuring a woman in North America, where they're a successful entrepreneur, they're a counselor, songwriter, mother.
Unsung heroes.
Totally.
All types of different women of walks of life.
All industries. And
very cool.
They've gone through their hardships. They've gone through their journeys of success and failures and lessons. And I have a page dedicated to my story. And I can't wait to be able to read it out to the public. But yeah, it's coming out on International Women's Day.
It's being published. Like, we'll be able to buy a copy of it.
Yes, it'll be on Amazon and on bookshelves.
Amazing.
Pursuit 365.
Pursuit 365.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one exciting thing.
Yeah.
Of many more. I know you've got your podcast running.
Yes.
How often does that happen?
Yeah. So the podcast came out of nowhere. I actually was never a book reader or a podcast listener. But I felt that I needed a platform to talk about my journey and to talk about the type of what I want to do to help the community. And I felt, it's a love-hate relationship with social media. I said I might as well use it to the greatest good. And it's been such a fantastic experience. I've been able to learn from so many leaders, from all our guests that have come on. And we basically record like once a month, 4 episodes at a time. And we have a mix of business strategies and tips and action-oriented tips for real estate agents and entrepreneurs.
Amazing.
And then some of our guests are really great leaders in our industry, whether it be, we've had Jill Sinclair, we've had Morgan Brown, who's one of the leaders at Oakwyn. She's an owner at Oakwyn. And they've been such great inspiration. So this podcast really is just for us to have an outlet. It's me and Tony Singh. We run the podcast together, and we release it once a week. So every Wednesdays. We're at 20. I think we're at like 27 episodes now, and we started last year. And it's been great. Yeah, it's been super fun, great feedback from everyone. And just even the guests, when they comment and provide feedback to us, they're signing up to the programs that our guests are offering. And so that tells me that, even just one person providing that feedback, it drives me to continue doing more podcasts.
Oh, and I mean, what great timing. I think now more than ever, everyone is turning to online, video, podcast. I mean, I think you probably started this even before a year ago when things changed in our world as we know it. But such a great time to really get that conversation going.
Yeah. It's a great project to start.
Yeah.
Like during COVID, we were able to do a lot of calls through Zoom. And it was it's so different from what I normally do because I'm so used to strategizing. I'm so used to going into meetings and selecting material, building materials.
Yeah.
I'm on site, looking at framing the projects being framed. And then dealing with negotiations. So being able to have this outlet of sharing my story and other people's story, it's been great for me to even learn about myself.
And it's inspiring to other people and women in the industry who probably didn't think there was an audience for that type of voice, right? There's not that many. I mean, real estate, and there's new development real estate, so it's even more niche and siloed. But the fact that you're playing in both industries and able to have a voice for both, I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I think like there's a couple of really good podcasts running in locally in Vancouver at the moment, and I'm a great supporter of them as well. But most of the podcasts about real estate are all about how to make the next deal, and we do have those topics as well. But I do want to highlight that. For Tony, she has 2 kids. So we talk a lot about work-life harmony and her being a full-time mom and being a full-time real estate agent. And she's going door to door knocking with baby in hand.
Love
and
it.
How does that look like? And how does that work in her schedule? I have gone through a divorce in the past, and how does financial literacy look like? How does it affect relationships, personal relationships? And so it's been a really good way to connect with people and be vulnerable, because I've been such a private person all these years. And so being able to use this channel to open up and tell people this is my story. Like, this is how I got to where I am, and I've become stronger out of it. And it's been a very exciting journey. And I feel like I'm helping a lot of peers in the industry, but I also feel like I've done so much growing out of it too. It's been exciting.
Helping others,
Yeah.
therefore helping yourself in the process.
Totally.
All right. What's one thing you're excited about for the future of real estate? A ton has changed in the last year and a half. We've changed our way of working with our peers, the industry, in terms of new development, to selling differently. There's a lot of opportunity. What are you excited about?
Thank you. What's so great about our city? It's like such a world-class community of like new developments. And I travel quite a bit just to get some inspiration and creativity in my body. And we do such a really good job on the infrastructure of our city. The roads, like the amenities, the like helping the environment as well. I'm excited about, I don't know. I just feel like our city just has so much continuous growth in certain communities. So I definitely want to see that happen. I want to see, for myself personally, my goal is to open up a brokerage and extend the Oakland brand into my own city in Burnaby, and really creating this community of zero tolerance on like sexual harassment, about safety, about women equality, and building a community that way, and not just educating women, but educating men as well. And I'm excited about the technology. I've been able to scale my business and work with clients. Like after 18 years of working in this business, is scaling my business so that I'm only working with clients that I really like and I enjoy working with, and that we have the same goals at the end of the day. Building beautiful homes.
Isn't it incredible what you can do now, when a year and a half ago you wouldn't think a client could jump on Zoom with you, or like some of the things we've done, even working from home more flexibly. What a change.
Oh yeah. It's the conversations are more, I would say, contained, more efficient. The executions are more effective. Communication style and decision making has been just like quicker, more effective, and I'm able to orchestrate teams and projects a lot more efficiently.
Yeah, and that is fantastic, and it leaves more time for moments like this, like the real special moments when you have time to actually sit down with someone and share experiences in person. Thank you, Jenny.
It just makes it more valuable.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think that's all we have for today. They're probably going to cut it right about here.